Mark Cuban is an American billionaire entrepreneur, media proprietor, television personality, and investor whose net worth is an estimated $4.4 billion. He's the owner of the NBA's National Basketball Association Dallas Mavericks, co-owner of 2929 Entertainment, and chairman of AXS TV. He's also one of the main shark investors on the ABC reality television series Shark Tank. In this video, we're going to tell you about the dark truth behind how Mark Cuban made his billions. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick till the end. Cuban was born in July 1958, grew up in a Jewish middle-class household in Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. His father, Norton Cuban, worked in an automobile upholstery store. His mother, Shirley Cuban, was a homemaker. He started his first business venture at the age of 12. Cuban's journey to becoming a billionaire included living in a dumpy apartment. Cuban says, "I remember being 24 years old living in Dallas in a 3-bedroom apartment with 5 other friends. I didn't have my own bedroom, so I slept on the couch or floor depending on what time I got home. I had no closet. Instead, I had a pile that everyone knew was mine. My car had the usual hole in the floorboard, a 77 Fiat X19 that burned a quarter of oil that I couldn't afford every week." He graduated from business school and worked a few jobs. Cuban chose to skip his senior year in high school and instead enrolled in the University of Pittsburgh. After a year there, he transferred to Indiana University, where he studied business. His entrepreneurial journey continued throughout his college years. In order to pay for his tuition, Cuban began to offer dance classes on campus for $25 an hour. He and his friends then started to rent space from a bar near the college to put on disco parties. They ultimately ended up buying the bar from the owner. He decided to start his own business selling powdered milk. But that venture didn't last long. Cuban reportedly said about the business, "I honestly thought it would make a killer business, and it lasted minutes." After that, he got a job at a PC software company called Your Business Software, making $18,000 a year plus commission, but he didn't last long there either. About 9 months in, "I got an opportunity to make a $15,000 sale," he wrote. "I was going to make a $1,500 commission, which was enormous. It would have allowed me to move out of the apartment and maybe have a bed." After job, he started his own company, MicroSolutions, with support from his previous customers from Your Business Software. By 1990, the company had $30 million in annual revenue, and he sold it to the CompuServe for $6 million. His life as an aspiring entrepreneur included taking no vacation time for 7 years. In a 2014 interview with Bloomberg's Masters in Business podcast, Cuban told his origin story. When he was 12 years old, he asked his father for money so he could purchase an expensive pair of shoes. He never forgot his father's response. "Those shoes on your feet look like they're working pretty well. If you want a new pair of sneakers, you need a job and you can go buy them." When he's doing the job, he told his boss that he was going to close the deal during his opening shift, but that he had someone covering for him. But his boss told him not to go. He did it anyway, thinking his boss would be impressed with the check. "Instead, when I came back to the office, he fired me on the spot," Cuban wrote. "I had disobeyed him." Cuban has read hundreds of books in his entire career, but he said that there's only one book capturing the American dream, How to Retire at 35, in particular that stands out for helping him stay focused on his money goals early in his career in his 30s. After reading this book, Mark Cuban was determined to save every penny he could in every chance he gets. He said that, "For me, my goal was to retire because I wanted my time for myself." The late nights ended up paying off. Around 1995, he started to become restless. A man named Christopher Jabe meets Cuban for getting funds for his business idea. As Jabe described it, Cuban agreed to invest. He invested $10,000 in the company, which was at that time called AudioNet. Cuban bought out most of Jabe's share of the business and renamed it Broadcast.com in 1998. After just 9 months of going public, Yahoo acquired Broadcast for $5.7 billion. Cuban and Wagner both became billionaires. He continues to make major moves in the industry, most recently through selling a majority stake in his two cable networks, HDNet Movies and AXS TV, to Anthem Sports and Steve Harvey. Cuban says, "Some of the best investments I ever made were investing in myself. First and foremost, when you're first starting, you may or may not have a job, you don't have any money, you're in complete uncertainty about your career. What I learned early on is that if I put in the effort, I can learn almost anything. It may take me a long time, but by putting in the effort, I taught myself technology. I taught myself to program. It was time-consuming, painfully so, but that investment in myself has paid dividends for the rest of my life. I learned that learning truly is a skill and that by continuing to learn to this day, I can compete and get ahead of most people because the reality is, most people don't put in the time to learn, and that's always given me a competitive advantage." Cuban has made a series of investments across a very wide range of businesses Cuban owns include the theater chain Landmark Theaters, private messaging app Cyberdust, and an apparel company called 3 Commas. In 2000, Cuban paid $280 million for the Dallas Mavericks basketball team. The sports franchise is now worth $2.45 billion. Mark Cuban joined several other investors to create the new social media platform, Fireside. The platform, described as Clubhouse but with a recording feature, will launch in 2021. "Remember, the market is where it was less than a year ago," he shared on LinkedIn. "No one freaked out when it went up too fast. No reason to freak out when it goes down quickly. Remember, I follow the #1 rule of investing: when you don't know what to do nothing." Cuban is probably best known for his role as a shark on the hit reality television show Shark Tank. He has invested just under $20 million in more than 80 small businesses on the show since joining the program in 2012. Of course, he's not the richest person who ever appeared on Shark Tank. That honor goes to guest shark Sir Richard Branson, whose $4.6 billion net worth barely beats Cuban. He's far away from the most successful shark on the show when it comes to investments on the show. Mark Cuban is the richest out of the regular sharks. Barbara Corcoran is worth $80 million, Lori Greiner is worth $100 million, Damon John is worth $300 million, and Kevin O'Leary is worth $400 million. Cuban even has nearly $1 billion in Amazon stock alone. According to CNBC, the billionaire has previously said that Amazon and Netflix were his biggest holdings, though this is the first time he's offered specifics. The best investment you can make is paying off your credit cards, paying off whatever debt you have, Cuban said in an interview with MarketWatch. If you have a student loan with a 7% interest rate, if you pay off that loan, you're making 7%. That's your immediate return, which is a lot safer than picking a stock or trying to pick real estate or whatever it may be. Cuban is still going strong on Shark Tank, and there's no indication that he will leave the show anytime soon, especially not with his incredibly successful track record. When Mark Cuban first became a billionaire, he bought the last-minute trip to Las Vegas with friends, an island vacation with his girlfriend, and a $19 million mansion. He has also confessed to have done a little naked billionaire dance when Yahoo purchased Broadcast.com, but Cuban did not stop there. In what Guinness Book of World Record calls the largest ever single e-commerce transaction in history, Cuban bought a private jet online for $40 million. "Buying a private jet was my all-time goal," Cuban said, "because the asset I value the most is time, and that bought me time." Let us know your opinion about Mark Cuban in the comment section below. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell icon for more updates and notifications. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video.